house is that fancy ever, really. That was about as fancy a house as I've ever been in. But anyway, welcome everybody. We got still got people trickling in. Scott looks like Scott's logging in. So welcome. So there was a couple new things that Steve rolled out that I was thinking I would start with. Do you guys want to check some of that out? And then we could go see if anybody has any questions about anything. Looks like we have Keith Powell. Welcome, Keith. And Daniel. Oh, good. Daniel's on here. That's awesome. We got Daniel from Portugal. We got Hugh from the UK. That's great.
Hi, Dylan.
Nice. Great to see you, Hugh. Um, yeah, so let me I'll
I'll try
open
and
up
get
some.
a camera.
Yeah, we got to get you a
I'll
camera
try and
so
get
we
a
can
camera up next time. I'll
we
get it
got to
clicked up so you can see what I look.
I love it, man. We'd love to be able to see you, Hugh. And hopefully you've met Lee too, our UK guy.
Yeah, spoken to him on the phone, so
Great.
we're in touch.
Awesome. That's great. Um, let's see. We'll open up a job I just did this morning. And so a couple of new things that have come out recently that I have yet to make a video of that could be kind of cool. If you are working on chapters and you want to share these chapters with other templates, under the chapters and the three dots, you can now copy chapter to another report.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I thought this would be really helpful. This is a big reason why Steve did this. If we have any people like Florida guys, people using 4 points and WinMits, we have the 4 point and WinMit chapters built that are you can do everything on mobile now, which was a huge amount of work, but those are all available. We can load them for you. Before we had to load them into your template, but now you could do that for yourself. You could open it and click copy chapter to another report, and then click on this and I wonder why it's not finding anything. What would I need? Has anybody used this? Tim Trickle, you on here?
I've seen it. I haven't used it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just started typing in narr and that brought up my narrative style report. So once you type something in, so if I wanted to move this into like my template, that's how I would do it. So, and I should show you guys, we should back up a little. I'll show you on my home screen. So a trick that I use for templates that has really helped me just make templates kind of easier is I like to take a job, so I could start any job, and the one that I'm using as my template I put out in the future. So this one's 2077. And I put all of these out here. Now these are not technically a template. All they are is just another job. But under the client name, I've written which template it is, the narrative style report or WinMit 2.0 or whatever. And then when I want to make a change to the template, I'll open this guy. But also if I had, we could open up my I think I have the here's the NPMA 33, for example. Let's see if this is the newest one. Yeah, so this has all kinds of stuff from the NPMA 33. If I wanted to move this into my narrative template, I could come up here, I could copy chapter to another report, I could start typing in narrative. Oh, and now it's starting to search through different jobs, so this narrative style. And then when I move it in there, I'll have it. So we'll hit that. And now I could go to my home screen and we'll open up my narrative style template. Hey, we got Charlie on here. Welcome, Charlie. Good to see you, man. Charlie's somewhere under the rainbow, right? So here's that new NPMA 33. Now that's in my template. So does that make sense, everybody, for moving chapters into different templates? Just navigate to a chapter, come up to the three dots, copy, and then again, it'll help you, I think, if you have, titled somewhere your template where you want to dump something into it. Cool. Um, so I thought that was really cool. The other thing I was excited to share is, has anybody played with the newest way of making links yet? Um, this is actually pretty fun. So, oh, we got Charlie on here. Nice, Charles. Charles from Wenatchee. Welcome, buddy. Good to see you, man. So a huge thing, if you're new to Scribeware, one of my favorite things that we have here is I'll just dissect my wood decks, porches, and balconies section here. All this stuff up here are sort of what HG would have called styles and materials. And to me, these are fields that are designed to print in the report, and I'm describing the system, you know. So the ledger board was standard, and the structure was ground contact treated lumber. So then down here, all of these in italics are inspector only notes. The inspector only notes are cool because the real intention of them, the reason we did this is the fastest way to write a report for a home inspector is a checkbox report, right? You just go click, 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 and you're doing your report. Now, a checkbox report is not, it's probably the worst report for the client to read, you know, so we didn't want to deliver a checkbox report, but we wanted the speed. So I can kind of click on these and I've set it up where the tune-up repairs or old deck repair or replace, the checkbox stays hidden, but it gives me instant access to my comments. So that's kind of cool. And the only problem with this is it takes some time to link these up. But let me show you. Let's do a test. We could build a new one. So I'm going to get out of this is my job that I'm using as my template. So I'm going to get out of it and we'll go into a play one that I set up just to fool around. Oh, good. Charlie's coming in. So let's set up a test little checkbox. So if we wanted to add, let's add a new checkbox in my citing section here. And we'll edit the section in order to add a new checkbox, right? The three dots within a section, so that we're in the siding and trim section. We edit the section. We can go to the pen, add a new box, and we'll just call this one test box. Right, so that it's as simple as that to add a new box. So now we have test box, but you'll see it's not orange, so nothing is linked to it. So let's go ahead and add a new observation, and we'll make this test box, and we'll name it, and we could add that to the library. But what you can do now is connect it to a field. So you guys see that one under. We've always been had up here with this new observation. We've had the three dots, and you could update library or add it to the library. But now we have connect fields. So you just come up here, hit the checkbox, and then you come up here and connect it to the field, and it's saying, "Do you want to connect this to that test box?" And I say yes, and close, and now I got it linked.
Hmm.
Anybody who spent
I,
hours and hours building a template is probably like, damn it. Why didn't
yeah,
we have that earlier?
I
I have
almost
a
drove
quick
off the
question on
road. You're
that.
killing me.
Yeah, sorry, sorry, Joe. No, I knew this one would like, I think about, me and Charlie have probably spent like hundreds of hours like linking things and it's definitely easier now. Uh,
Uh,
Hundreds.
and
yeah.
Charlie's way is even more confusing for me. Can you just demo that again? Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt whoever else
let's do one
asked the
more so
question.
everybody gets it because this is faster for sure. So the first step is to set up a checkbox of some type of a box. So we'll edit the section, we'll come up here and I'm gonna just do test number 2. All right, so now we've got a new little box.
Way faster than either of the other ways.
And so now we've got a little box, right? But we need to connect something to it. I mean, we could take my little wood siding comment here and connect it, but let's just make a new one. Test number 2, and we will add this to the library with those three dots, and then we will connect it to field. So we'll click it. Now it's clicked, and we come up here and connect to field. And it knows which one, and then we close it, and it's all connected.
Are you able to now see if you were in that edit drop down and there's your orange comments? Are you able to see what they're linked to in that same screen by any chance?
Are you able to see what they're linked to? You mean when I
How do I
edit
say this?
this?
Yeah, if you go to edit section and then if you had that list that yes.
Yeah, you
Could
can't, from this
no.
screen, you can't see what they're connected to.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Thanks.
Where you can see, just so you know, is if you go to edit the library or view library, you will see the all of the library, which ones are connected to things. So you will see that over here. And that can be helpful. I mean, if you have a mature template, meaning you're like me and you've been fiddling with your template for years and years and years, I can usually scroll to the bottom of a library section where I'm working, and I very rarely use a comment that isn't connected to a field. So I've kind of built most of my stuff out. And if I want to look for things that are old comments or things I want to delete, I can often find them at the bottom of an area. And I kind of know if they're not connected, there's about a 70% chance I don't want it anymore in my library. And if I wanted to get rid of some of these, like if I wanted to delete these two, we could highlight them and then I can hit the little garbage can here and
Have to be careful they're not media.
What's that,
Media.
Charlie?
You have to be careful they're not media comments.
You mean what do you mean that they're
Well, the media comment won't show as connected, so like that, those are happen to be media captions, right?
well, so if you want to, what Charlie's talking about in the library here is if you show only media captions. So we should go over this. This is a good thing for everybody to know about. So Scribeware supports an entire library of narratives that are really, to me, not even full narratives. They're just captions. They're photo captions. So it's interesting because I mean, we have people that do inspections so differently all over the whole country. And a lot of people's libraries we import, their libraries are kind of, kick-out flashings were incomplete. The siding to concrete contact is not recommended. I tend to be verbose. I think Mark Twain, my favorite quote of his is, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. Yeah. But writing concisely takes great skill and time and concentration. So anyway, do you guys see how I got to this? I hit show only media captions, and that for me shows all these sort of like one sentence comments in my narrative. And here's one: no back flashing present. So let's go back into the report, and I'll open up a picture. And I could type in back and start typing in black back flashing. And then here's that photo caption: no back flashings were present at the siding joints. So the pre-made captions can be a very powerful way to build out libraries of short comments that are all available to you right in your photo captions. Does that make sense to everybody? And how you can build those out quite organically. So let's delete this one. I'm inside this picture, and let's add a new caption here. Minor cracking was observed in the wood siding. So that's one that could get used again. So I made it. You come up here to the three dots under the picture caption area and just add the library. And we kind of designed the photo captions library to be almost built organically, where you're just kind of you run it into things, you caption it, and you can just add it to your library that way. That makes sense, everybody? Yeah.
I had a question real quick, if we
Yeah.
can.
Shoot.
On the, you said that you could link that to the hidden checkboxes. Can that be linked to like the descriptor checkboxes as well?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So if I check my existing siding stucco, I could have a default comment about stucco that automatically populates.
In fact, I desperately want you to do that.
Yeah, well,
no,
I desperately want to do that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Justin. I love it. So here, you guys can still see my template, right? So in mine, as soon as I hit stucco, for example, that gives me my kind of CYA comment about hard code stucco. So we could try, we should try that. I wonder if that same technique works. Let's connect. I wonder if we can connect wood siding system. So let's add it to the library. and then connect to fields. So interesting. Because stucco was up, it wanted to connect to either stucco or number 2. So let's close. We could take one of these like wood siding here. And now that wood siding is up, we could come up here and connect fields. And now wood siding is an option. So let us know if you see any bugs with this, keep us posted because this is kind of a brand new feature. But now you can see, does that make sense, Justin? See how wood is now orange, and that would, I think, bring up this comment. Still on there? So, yeah. I think you're muted, Justin. Everybody get that? Everyone else picking me up? Cool. Yeah.
Got
So
it. So, Dylan, from a template development process, would you create the observation first, or do you have to create the checkbox label?
I don't think it really
You know what I'm
matters
saying?
which comes first, but you do have to have both, right? So you'd have to have like
Okay.
either a pull down, like a field up here that you want to connect, or a
Yep.
checkbox that's going to print in the report, or a checkbox that'll stay hidden. Let me show you guys the difference. So I'm going to open up these checkboxes down here uh, that are hidden for me. And how they stay hidden is these inspector only notes don't show in report. And then I'm displaying them as checkboxes. So that's kind of how I made all these little checkbox notes that I didn't want to print in the report. Um, and if you uncheck this inspector note thing, then these would print in the report. And yeah, does that answer your question, Joe? I mean, ultimately you need both. So, but you could start either way. Just you'll have to have both.
Thanks.
Whoop, somebody asking a question. It might have been Joe. Looks like he's driving. Cool. So hopefully that makes sense. Those are some new features that I have been kind of excited about. So hopefully that helps speed you up, especially with template stuff. John is on here and he had some questions about templates. So let's go over templates for just a minute because I wanted to try to cover this today. Again, how if this is maybe a live job, because this really is a copy of a live job I did this morning. And if I hit save template, um, and I don't change the name, this is the name of my template, narrative style. If I rename it and I call this, template 2.0, this is the equivalent of doing save as. I'm like renaming it, right? And so I could hit save template and I will have created now a new version of my narrative template that's narrative style 2.0. And now there's no way to kind of blend stuff. So like this job was a big house. And so I did things like north guest bathroom, south guest bathroom, right? So I have these weird names of bathrooms and those are now going to be in my new, narrative style 2.0 template. So in general, I prefer not to save a template on a live job. And the reason is you end up picking up a lot of things like this where you're like renaming bathrooms and stuff. So one of the new features that we have that is also available, I think, is for everybody now. And when you go to flag something, these are flags and you can flag any narrative comment and it can be in any section. So let's say I'm out in the field and I want to add something to my sinks and cabinets. I can flag it and I can say, add copper sink to list. And you can hit OK. And now this little note comes up, add copper sink to list. So we added this ability to add notes to flagged items so that you could better make notes to yourself for making template improvements. Does that make sense, everybody?
Totally makes sense. When did you do that, Dylan?
I don't know, last like couple weeks ago, something like that. It's pretty new. It's like hot off the presses.
Pretty neat, pretty new. Like it.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, particularly for teams, like if, for you, Jamie, your guys could be out in the field, and I don't know if you're in the habit of reviewing flag things and reports, but you could just go look for these and then be able to make template changes. I really wish that we could make it so that we could save templates more granularly. Like I would love it if like every time I added one of these checkboxes in a live job, I could then save it to my template. But it's actually really confusing when you think about it because you would have to tell the system to, put this box into a different job and remember the link. I mean, it's really confusing. I don't know how Steve would build that. I think the closest that we would be able to do is like maybe start visualizing that a template were a sequence of chapters and sections. And maybe it could replace this section, with the old section kind of a thing, but it's surprisingly complicated. So I know it seems like it ought to be easy, but I'm trying to explain the logic so you understand, hopefully understanding it makes it better. But that's kind of why, Charlie Buell years ago came up with this idea of like, let's just take a job and we'll put it out in the future and we'll use that as our template. And for the most part, that's really helped me every day. I can make little tweaks to my template. And now with this new flagging, I can actually remember to go home and I'll like make a little list of things that I want to adjust. And then I'll open up this job up here and fiddle with it.
Hey, Dylan, how do you, do you have to enable that? I'm in a live report on a different screen here. And I
If you
don't see
flag it,
where-
you're not seeing it.
No,
Do you see an update available?
I don't know. Quit
It's
asking so many questions.
It's
Yeah.
possible that we haven't pushed it out yet. I don't know. Like I'm on the front lines of all the like guinea pig stuff, and so, but it's nice for you to know that you can see this because you know that it's coming if you don't have it. I thought everybody had that now, but
I, I'm,
Tim, do
I'm,
you know if that's out? Does everybody have that?
I think a version just went out today that should have everything.
Okay.
Like you're on 8.80, and I think 0.82 is the update that you've got that's a public version.
Okay. You can see I have an update that I haven't done yet. Um, even as we speak. And just
Don't.
see if you're new to Scribeware, I mean, this is where your updates show up on the desktop, and you can hit what's new, and you can kind of see what the guys have been up to.
We're so used to Steve being magic, we think everything's possible.
I know Steve's amazing. Fixed an issue where media could disappear from your gallery when syncing across multiple devices. The app now handles updates from. So I think this was I think it was a bug that a few of you guys have run into where like one device was online and one device was offline, and then it would mess up syncing or something. So anyway, these are the things that can come up. It's a pretty sophisticated system we built here, and I know Steve really appreciates your feedback. We want you to never have problems, but the feedback that he built is the single greatest, when people give us feedback let me, I'll show you this. I'll cancel
Dylan,
it.
I just updated and it is in the new update. So yeah,
All right,
nice
great.
job.
So just so everybody knows, if you're new to Scribeware, submit feedbacks at the bottom left on the desktop. I can show you on the mobile. If you slide your camera to the right on mobile, if you want to just do that, you will see a little exclamation point. The camera where you take a picture is actually that bar will kind of slide around a little bit. And if you slide it to the right, you'll see an exclamation point, and that's how you submit feedback on mobile. So Steve was really smart in building this stuff. And if you give us feedback, it's incredible. Like Steve's, we're always looking at this and we want it to run perfectly. I think recently iOS, Apple did something that messed us up. And without your feedback, like they don't like send us an email and be like, hey, we're about to screw up your software. So if somebody's out in the field and finds this, and if you guys get us the data, then we can fix it quickly. But that's why Steve built the feedback in is that you can imagine how complex it is with like thousands of devices and different operating systems and all this stuff. So submit feedback. And great, Jamie. I'm glad you got that. That's awesome. And hopefully all you guys should have that. Yeah, so I thought you guys would like those. Those were a couple new features that Steve rolled out recently. So anybody have any questions? Or I mean, there's some other things that I was going to show you guys if you want. You could think about
Oh,
questions.
I've
Why don't I?
got one on still.
Yeah, what's that, John?
Um, Now the way I'm trying to do this is have a master template where I just
Okay.
everything's there, and I can select out of that what I want to have in a template or modify one. So I have a master template, then a single family residence. So we do make a number of changes in the master, and it's time to build up a new single family residence thing. So I go through and I do that, and I want to save it, but it pops up master template. So I have to write in then single family resident B
Yeah,
or
correct. I
two,
mean,
then go back and delete the old one.
you would delete the old one, you'd hit save
Okay.
template, and you would change the name from master, or you don't even have to delete it. You could call it single family 2.0, 3.0, or whatever.
Okay.
But
All right.
by renaming it is the equivalent as save as. I mean, it's just,
That's how we do it. Okay.
yeah, yep.
All
So
right. Thanks.
by giving it a new name, and then I mean, you could have a bunch of them, and then eventually go ahead and just delete them. Let me show you where you delete a template because that's not immediately apparent. Sorry, I often move too fast. Settings is
Oh, man.
at the bottom left is settings, and then if you go under report templates, you could load a report. So let's narrative style 2.0. We just made this today. And then I can come down here and go ahead and delete template. And so now narrative 2.0 will be
Okay.
gone.
The other question is kind of in the same light. Um, if we're copying a chapter into a report and it goes over to, it shows up, my modifiers don't match. They go to some of the default thing. So I've done something wrong in terms of building out
Not
templates.
necessarily, John. That's interesting. I tried to tag Steve on that feedback. So the copy chapter to new template
Yeah.
is relatively new. I mean, we've always been able to on the back end. We've now enabled it for you guys, but it doesn't I'm it doesn't surprise me because we don't save modifiers per template or per chapter. We save them per template. So if you take a chapter in a library from one template and move it from another and you have totally different modifiers, the system probably won't really know what to do with the old ones, you know? I mean, it
So then,
won't.
yeah.
It
So
wouldn't surprise
some,
me that you ran into a problem with that. So let me show everybody. So
okay.
the modifiers are under settings and modifiers, and these are awesome because you can create as many modifiers as you want. You can give them different colors and different names. You can choose which modifiers go to the summary. You can choose if you want media to be included with these. I mean, there's a lot of customization here that is awesome. But notice how in this list of modifiers, these are the ones I have in my narrative style template. If I were to switch templates, I don't really have that many different ones. I don't know. Yeah, you can see they change in the sewer scope template. And if you want to remove some, like you can go ahead and hide modifier if you want to get rid of them. So in any event, we save them per template. So you can submit feedback again, John. I did tag Steve on that because we got your feedback, and I don't know the answer. Like if you take a whole library and move it from one template to a different template, and you have totally different modifiers, I just don't know what happens to the comments as far as the modifier goes.
Okay. Yeah.
Tim, I don't know if you have any thoughts on how that should work or could work, but it seems to blow up my mind a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't run into that one yet, but yeah, that does make sense because those are kind of stored separately. So it'll have to be something to look
Yeah.
at.
Right
And what
Yep.
now,
I've
I
noticed
think,
is that sometimes the one that you have when you first set up my program, you had the like you have there on the top of yours repair, nice dark orange.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one that says repair, only it's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But when I send it over, it picks up from your initial construction of my template. Like
Oh,
it's picking up
interesting.
something in the background.
One thing you might be able to do is go ahead and delete templates you're not using and that
Okay.
would probably reduce the number of these, which could make, you know,
Clarify.
I would just think there'd be like less room for error, you know? I mean, I've got a
All right.
lot of stuff in mind, and so which I don't know. I've just
It
never
may,
needed
it
to. I
may
haven't had
not,
a problem with it, but
it
Okay,
might not be
working
able to
on it.
distinguish, Dylan, between modifiers that are named the same.
yeah, I mean, that's really interesting, isn't it? Like, because you could have a modifier that has the exact same name in a different template in two different colors, and the system might
Yeah.
not really know what to do with that, you know?
Okay.
Um, so
So
like trying to delete templates that you're not using might help with that confusion, John.
All right.
Yeah, try that
I'll
and
do
let
that.
us
I'll do
let
that. We'll start
yeah.
there. Thanks.
No,
and
that
it
I got
makes
also
that actually makes sense. I had a due diligence. I changed my due diligence color and it kept defaulting to the old one. And I bet you
Yeah,
that's exactly why it was
that's what's
doing that,
doing.
is that I've
Yeah.
got multiple due diligence and different templates and I'm confusing it, you know?
I think Donnie had a question. Hey,
Yeah,
Donnie.
Donnie.
I got a question and a comment, kind of related to that. There is a place I was trying to pull up my stuff where the modifiers are. There is a button somewhere that tells those which uh, templates to be in, does it?
Correct. Right here at the upper right, you can choose which template you're building them for. It's just interesting.
That's what I'm saying. Make sure,
Yeah, so
just tell
you'd want to
John
make
to,
that's right. You'd want to make sure you've got that set right. And I'm just we're making a guess, but I'm just wondering if because I have due diligence, the exact same words, different in different templates, maybe that is confusing the
well, what
system
I'm saying, his
possibly.
new template, he needs to go in and make sure that the right button is clicked.
Yeah, agreed. And make sure it's set right, that it's the ones that you
Yeah.
want there. Yeah.
And,
Um,
and then another question on top of what John was talking about. Is there any way that you can put a chapter that something like a sewer scope, you've seen my template, the way that I've got stuff in it, that you can actually check it for, make it turn green so that it doesn't print and hold that place in a
y-
template?
yeah, so like have it be not showing up unless you want it.
Right.
I don't think there is at the moment, and that was the thing that was kind of high on our list. I think what Donnie's asking about, guys, this would really help you, Donnie, because Donnie has so many ancillary services, like stuff down here, and so having all of these basically auto come up as being green at the very least, right? Is that, or like a button where you like show hidden chapters or something, and then you could use them if you need them. Whereas at the moment, we sort of default by showing everything in a chapter, and then if you're not going to use it, like let's say I'm not going to use this crawl space chapter, I can turn it green. By turning it green, the only thing that is relevant is my required fields go away. So by turning it green, my required fields go away. And then because I haven't put any data in any sections or in this chapter, the chapter will not print. So if I have set a bunch of required fields in my template for the crawl space, and if I don't have a crawl space, I just turn it green, and uh, and that makes that chapter go away.
Could Donnie use inspector only notes and he would have his comments in there, have the modifier become inspector only note. It'd be in the report. I don't, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you wanted, Donnie, but
The
then it's
reason I
there.
want it, the reason I want it is I keep all my stuff active, but I can't have required fields in it. So then I have to go back and click them. But if I just don't have required fields, it's just
Let,
I've got
let's
everything in my one report.
let's practice submit feedback, and we'll give one to Steve. So I'm going to hit submit feedback and I'm going to, he asks you, which is smart because sometimes he's fixed a problem with an update, right? So, no, we're going to submit feedback without updating. Hi, Steve.
Can you sign all 25 names on this request?
Yeah, it's 29 of us on here. Um, we were wondering, could we create a template in which some chapters, such as ones for sewer scope, could auto populate as green, meaning the required fields are hidden. Does that sound kind of accurate, Donnie?
Close enough.
So Dylan,
Yep.
there is a request from some time ago. This is a similar need for RV inspections where you have multiple types.
Okay. Yeah, so you have a similar desire for this feature, and is it a whole chapter that you would want to just sort of populate green and then you turn it on when
Uh,
you want to use it?
I have two types of RVs, motorhome and travel trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to quickly get rid of those chapters and their sections.
Interesting. That's a little bit different because you'd almost like a toggle switch that would like turn a whole group of chapters or sections on or off. Isn't that correct?
Big picture, yes. If I was just able to do the chapters quickly, that would facilitate the needs.
Okay. Yeah.
And I
Interesting.
can do that on the desktop, but not the mobile.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yep. There was a period, and I haven't done it for a while, but there was a period that if you collapsed a chapter on mobile and then hit save template on desktop, I think it would like save the chapter collapsed. Tim, do you know about that? Did you ever fiddle with that at all, or does anybody?
Uh, yeah, I don't think that's what we're talking
I
about
don't
here,
believe
but
that's
yeah.
applicable here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen someone saying it wasn't working. I haven't. I've been too afraid to mess with it on my own template in case it's not working. But yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. What's that, Donnie?
I don't want to change the subject, but don't let me forget. I would like to go over how you set up the where everything's collapsed or not collapsed on a phone. Now, with that said, carry on. I know I'm the
Okay.
instigator here.
I'm not that good at that because I don't have anything collapsed on my phone, but we could try to experiment with it here in a little bit. I did want to show you guys I built a new and maybe I doubt I showed everybody, but let's see, additional plumbing. I just built something that has been really nice. So backflow prevention, which I don't know, for a while it wasn't even in my template, probably. And then I'll delete all this and kind of show you guys the logic of it. But I really like how this section works now. Nobody really knows, in my experience, clients don't really know that they have backflow prevention, right? I mean, it's like one of these sort of esoteric parts of a building. So, and where I am, your backflow prevention is supposed to be inspected annually. That is almost never the case. So there's this whole like education process. So my backflow, I made a note. So anytime I see backflow prevention, I hit this little pen and I explain what the heck this stuff is. And then I explain where I found it. Irrigation, boiler, fire suppression. So this was on the irrigation system. Service records. Recent service records found, in which case I take a picture of them, or no service records found. So I can choose which one. This is a no recent records found, so we could turn it to recommended maintenance is probably how I should save this one, not future project. And then attach your picture. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I thought it was such a nice little workflow. Whenever I find backflow prevention, I can go click, 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 and put in the background information and take a picture of the tag, and feel like I'm off to the races. So I don't know if that's helpful, but I was thinking of the meeting today when I ran into one and was like, God, that worked really well for me.
Can you go back to the pen?
Yeah. So the pen, if I delete this, Joe, basically I just set up a little note that stays hidden unless I choose something. I don't have any required fields in backflow prevention because this is kind of like beyond the SOP sort of a thing for the most part. But I just made a little pen that I connected a descriptive note to that is just explaining what backflow prevention is. So that's kind of background information. I have a link if you want even more information.
Do you need to explain where the pens come from?
Yeah, the pen I use a Windows computer, and so that's
Same as the camera icon kind of deal.
Yeah, exactly. That's an emoji. So on Windows, if you hit the Windows key and the period key, your emojis come up, and you can kind of. I don't care for lots of them personally, but I like a few of them, and the camera one and the pen are two that I use quite a bit.
So if you click edit that section,
We'll edit the section, and then we
and
can use the pen to
so
go here. And all I
right.
did is up here I wrote backflow prevention note, and then I used an emoji of a little
Right.
pen.
That's all I wanted to clarify. So that instead of writing definition or whatever as a keyword there, you just put a pen. So it's the same
Correct.
difference.
Yep.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, you can link narratives to emojis, so that's kind of how I was able to do that. So instead of writing a, backflow prevention note over again, I could just put the little pen and then click on it. So
In the same way, when you do like a prompt to take a picture of a service record or a data plate, you put the camera emoji and you just open up an observation with the
correct.
camera
So let's
emoji.
let's go look at that. And if you're new to Scribeware, here's I'm in my heating systems in my template, and I have this little camera emoji. So let's go ahead and delete this. I took some pictures of the data tags. So there were two heat pumps here, so I can just click the camera, and that gets me a little comment, a little descriptive comment. This shows the data plate for the air handler, and I could double click on it, and I could choose different thing. In this case, there were two air handlers, so I could actually just type in, put a little S in there. So if you want, you can actually get a Grammarly subscription, and it works in Scribeware. So every once in a while, those things a pain, but that's why you see that weird little button there. So then I'll drag my two data tags in, and now I've got them here. Of course, the air handlers were both on their side. So now I'll click on the picture, and you can do this on mobile, but we can use the crop button when you're annotating on desktop, and I can rotate this around and kind of, get this situated the way I want it. Click on this one. I think I actually missed the date on this one. I in too much of a hurry. Almost got it. So that's kind of how I do data tags for the most part. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on that? Joey, you got that one, man? Hopefully. Cool.
I think I got it. Could you just show what you did to get back to where you are after you were editing
The pictures?
the yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
just
after
repeat what
I used crop to move them around, and then when
yeah.
I was done moving them, I just hit save and close at the bottom right here.
Okay. And then that takes you back to the report that you're editing.
Yep,
Okay.
that you're working on.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Cool, guys. Anybody have any other questions on some desktop stuff? I do have my mobile logged in if we want to go over some mobile things, but I'd be happy to keep answering any desktop questions.
Yeah, I got a question, Dylan.
Yeah, shoot.
Can you go over setting up a tag from like start to finish?
Oh, tags. We should totally go over this. My God.
Please?
Thank you, Scott. I'm totally embarrassed. This is a really amazing thing. So there's a lot of power here. So Donnie Bentley could use this one. Anybody that does room by room. Let's go look at this. I'm gonna thank you, Scott. I really glad you brought that up. All right, so I'm in my electrical section now, and you see that all of my electrical comments I tagged with this electrical items tag. So if I go ahead and let's go ahead and publish this report, and we'll see what this tag does. We'll hit publish. This might take a minute because there's a decent number of
Dylan,
things.
does that work if you preview it too, or just publish?
It should work on the preview, I think. But yeah, I think that would work on the preview, but I think it'll give us more of the full feature if we publish it. So if you're brand new to Scribeware, when you hit publish, the system is now talking to the cloud, and it's going to produce a report URL here in just a second, and that is a secure hidden website link. So we're kind of building these like hidden websites that we're going to send to people. So that should pop up here in a second, and then I'll show you what this electrical tag does. We could spend the whole rest of this meeting on tags because there's so much functionality here. Come on, baby. This was kind of a longer report, so. Well, in the meantime, while this, I'm going to hit publish one more time just in case. Publish without sending an email. Hide and continue publishing. We'll let that do its thing. Okay, so where you get tags and where you build them is under settings and tags right here. So these tags are different than the photo tags. The photo tags that you can build for your photos are designed to help you organize and sort your pictures really quickly. And we could go over that in a little bit. These are observation tags, not photo tags. And I've been playing with a number of them, and I'm starting to really like them. These are very powerful. They do a lot of different things for you. So I want to go down this electrical one because I think anybody that does a room by room template, this would be a pretty cool thing you can do. So let's look at what we did. I made it under name. I called these electrical items. And then I'm going to create a separate summary page for every comment that I tag as an electrical item is going to build its own summary page of these electrical items. And then I want to save them with the library entry. And the reason I chose that is I wanted to tag my entire electrical library with these tags. I didn't want to have to go in and do it manually every time. And so the comments are saved with this electrical tag. So that's all kind of noteworthy. Now the other thing that I checked here down here is these are inspector only tags. So if I wanted these to print in the report, I could use chips and then they'll print. But I didn't want the electrical one to print because my only purpose for this particular tag is I wanted to build a summary page of electrical items that I could give to the electrician and all my electrical stuff would be in one place. Can I get an amen and a hallelujah? You guys with me so far? We're all together. Charlie gave me a good one. Nice. All right. So cool. So that's how I built this one. And now let's go look in the report. Let's see if it actually made it. So here is the report URL. So we just published this. So let's click on that and I'll drag this in. It's making it on another page or another screen. All right, so here is the report. So here's my summary page. And then if we scroll down, look, we got electrical items down here. So I've generated a summary page. And when I click on that, it actually takes me out of the main report. I have a bug that I need Tim Trickle to fix for me because Steve said this was caused by my CSS. And that's all he said, but somehow I need to fix this. So I gotta get with
That
you
sounds like Tim's fault.
Yeah, it's Tim's fault. Steve was like, "Damn it, Tim." So anyway,
Tim wishes they'd all be that easy, don't you, Tim?
yeah. So here's isn't this kind of cool? I mean, now this URL, notice how this URL is just electrical items. So if I wanted to, I could grab this URL and I could copy it and I could email that to the electrician and all of the electrical stuff's in one place and all the pictures are with it, even though in my regular summary the pictures are not with it. We decided that on these little like system by system summaries, you would want the pictures and videos there.
It can't possibly get any cooler than that.
Yeah, and that's cool. So especially if you guys do room by room templates, this is a phenomenal. So now let's go back into the report and I'll show you how I built it. And thank you again, Scott, for bringing this up. I can't believe I forgot to talk about it. So how I tagged every electrical comment, I actually have 2 chapters worth of electrical. So we'll go under electrical service here. And then I went, what did I do? I went under my library tab up here at the top. And if you check this box, it will highlight every single comment in your whole electrical, in this case, in my electrical chapter. So I have a lot of comments in that chapter, so it's kind of spinning and thinking about life. And in a moment, I think everything will turn green.
Do you
Yep.
have to preemptively do these, or can you do these on the fly, Dylan?
You can do them on the fly, and we'll get to that. But what I'm showing you now, Jamie, that's important is if you want to produce an electrical summary page, you probably don't want to have to manually check the tag on electrical every time. I wanted it to just everything to be tagged for me, right? Automatically. So this is how I set up every single comment now is highlighted, and I hit the tag here, and then I chose my electrical items, and that was how I check I tagged everything in my electrical chapter. Does that make sense? How you can tag everything if you want to? And
Dylan?
I will show you how to use these differently. So when I first did this, my little descriptive notes had the electrical tag. And so then the very first time I deleted that tag and I hit update library and I got rid of them because I don't really want these little notes going to the electrician. Like they can find their own permit stickers and voltage. But so I did then have to kind of remove my tag from things I didn't want tagged. But it automatically, tagged everything else in my electrical.
How do you remove an individual one?
Yeah, so if you could just click that and then unselect it right here, Donnie, and then
Hmm.
it would go away. And then when it goes away, you would come up to the comment and hit update library, and then it would remember it without that electrical tag. Does that make
Okay,
sense? So just click on it.
maybe.
Click on the electrical tag, and that should open the tags. You come down here, and if you click this, I don't want to do it because I don't want to delete mine, but if you click
Okay.
that, it'll unselect it from that comment, and you hit OK, and then it wouldn't be there, and you would come up here and hit update library, and then it would remember that comment without the electrical tag. So this is how you would use it in this case of wanting to do, I could go through my plumbing section and my water heater section and make a plumbing tag and create a whole list for plumbers. That one would be a bit more work for me because I'd have to probably hit like my kitchen sinks, and I would have to hit all my bathrooms and my plumbing and my water heater. But I could go to all those sections and do this and create like a list for a plumber as well. I haven't done that yet. So there's another way that you can use these that Jamie was alluding to. So I do room by room for bathrooms, right? So we've got all these different bathroom chapters in this report. So in this one, we've got caulking needed at backsplash, and I'm in the main bathroom. So let's say I found this in both the main bathroom and two other bathrooms. I could go to my tags, which is right here in the comment, and rather than write the comment multiple times, I could say primary bathroom, hall bathroom, and upstairs bathroom. And boom, I just tagged them. So I don't use these a lot, but I much prefer these to having to write the same comment. It always used to drive me crazy to have the same comment in my report two times. Slow drain, like it's like, well, once I have that comment in there, I would way rather use a tag and assign it to others. So that's kind of how I've been rolling with like these bathroom tags. I don't use them for every job or every comment because I really don't need to. I have more of a room by room approach with bathrooms, so I don't need to. Now, if you are of the opinion that you want a single bathroom chapter in your template, which is not a half bad idea. I've been kind of flirting with that. Then these tags would be phenomenal because you could just tag everything. You could have bathrooms and you could go hit this guy and just, use your tags to say where you found it. Everybody with me there? I'm getting some head nods, so I love your feedback, play with it. I have always been a room by room person for bathrooms, and I'm stubbornly clinging to it. But this feature has got me dangerously close to just rolling with one bathroom chapter. I think you could do it better than ever. To me, there's a lot of liability in bathrooms, and I like to have a chapter per bathroom, and I have like pictures of the bathroom, and I show the fixtures running. And so I think I'll always do it my way, the way I'm still doing it, but just throwing it out there. So you can also use these for big picture locations. So, let's say the other day I was on a house and I was on the grounds and I had clearance to grade issues, whereas siding was too close to soils and there was some repair. So I hit that, and these aren't the correct pictures, obviously, but we'll put them in. We should unpack this comment. I used one of those pen emojis to make a little gunny sack so that I could, modify this comment. So siding too close to soils, I give a trick that you could use gravel, and then I have a little box repair any hidden rot as needed, but I could click or unclick these depending on how things go. And then let's say in the case of the house I did the other day, I found this condition on both the north side and the south side. So I went to my tags and I think under exterior locations, I could do north side, south side, and just tag them that way. So that was kind of how I described where I found them. You like that, Donnie?
I do. That
Cool.
solves one of my dilemmas I've been trying to
Okay,
work through.
great. I mean, this tool, it could solve a lot of
I need
dilemmas,
a,
you know.
I want a little bit of your time next week.
All right, that sounds good, Donnie. We'll try to meet up. I'd be happy to. I really think this is a very cool feature. So there's another way that you can do them that I haven't used quite so much, but let's fiddle with this one for a minute and hit the tags. The one part of it that isn't working as well is so here we can edit the tags. So let's edit the tags. And under exterior locations, this one will set them as bulleted. Oh, as list. So in his list, you get this. Let's see how these work. See, you've got like and stuff in here, and this is I need we really need Casey Bartley was flirting with us and he disappeared, but this is how he wanted to use them, where you could kind of tag and make a list.
Can you show how to make those colored?
Well, I think this is the bug is that they're white. Let's go look and see if we can fix them. Has anybody been using this one? Yeah, I think Steve still hasn't. See how this one under the list, it actually makes like a whole list. So left side, back side, right side, and then the next one. So this is a pretty cool way to do it, but unfortunately the text seems to be coming in white. And I think that bug still exists. So the list still has a bug with it.
Can you
This,
not change it right underneath where the little A with the underline is and the
let's try it.
yeah there.
I'm trying that on my end and it wouldn't do it.
It wasn't
Okay.
doing it. Okay.
Oh, well, look,
It
there
looks
did it.
like it looks like the colors are missing, not that the letters are white, because all the letters are white and all tags. It looks like the
Well,
bubble of the color is just missing.
That fixed it, Dylan.
yeah, it just fixed it for me. So try that. Thank you, Tim. That seems like it fixed it. So this is a whole other way that you can use them is make these little lists separated by an and. And then we had a newer company that wanted it as bullets, and I still haven't even played with this yet, but we could go to this list and we could do bullets and see how that changes it. So now you have it as kind of a bulleted list. So there's an incredible amount of power here. I mean, there's
That
so
is
many
very
different
cool.
ways you could use this that like it's hard to say one way to do it. It's funny. I was worried when we built this because it's like such a creative tool. Like everybody could use it differently, and you could ask me questions that I won't know the answer to because, you just got to kind of play with it and see how it works for you. But this thing solves a lot of problems, is why we spent quite a bit of time on it. So, everybody,
What's the behavior on the non-instructor note settings for the actual output on the
on
report?
the non and oh well that's what everything we're doing is non-inspector. The only reason you would choose inspector only is if you just want to build a summary page and have the tags stay hidden. That's how my electrical one's set up. All these other ones. Oh, I made one for pre or re-inspections, which we could talk about that. Uh,
You was talking about keeping it hid. You just said, well, as an inspector note, does
yeah,
that
so
still go to a summary?
inspector only will make the electrical. This electrical one does not show up in my report. I could if I listed as chips, it would print.
But I mean,
But
does it still go to the summary?
yeah, this doesn't
Okay.
affect your regular summary at all. Like this doesn't override any of your regular summary. So it
Let me
creates
rephrase my question. If you check it with inspector only, it still creates the electrical summary.
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
Correct.
That's
Yep.
what I wanted to make sure.
Yep. But you don't see this little tag in the report.
Can you
That
But
show how you made that
if you
electrical items yellow with the lightning bolt?
yeah, so I we can click on one of these, click to edit, and then I think I chose yellow, and then I wrote electrical, and then I came to the beginning and used Windows and period and got my emojis, and there's my little lightning bolt. Do you get that, Scott?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So,
if you create a chip of a wall north, a chip called north, is it going to create a summary of everything on the north wall?
no, in order to create this, you could do that, but this is where create summary pages you read up here. And it would be the summary would be in this case it's electrical items. So you could have like items on the north side of the building. You could create a summary page of like every single thing that you found on the north side of the building. I mean, this is really neat, the stuff that you could do with this. It's kind of mind bending a little bit, but does that make sense, Daniel?
Yeah, it's the summary switch that determines the summary. Sorry,
Correct.
I
The
should have
the
realized that.
summary
Not
switch.
the Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And again, the reason I have saved with library entry is so that I could just make it so that I just didn't want to have to keep manually tagging every electrical comment. I just wanted every electrical comment to have the tag already there. Cool. Let's see, what do I want to do? This exterior locations. I'm going back to chips. I think we even fixed this list thing, seems to be working. So, yeah, we'd love for you guys to go out and break it. I think this is working pretty well. Again, someone gave us the feedback that they wanted bulleted, so we added that. So, keep us posted. We would love your feedback on it. But again, I haven't used it much, but it's pretty neat. In theory, I think what you could do is have an electrical summary, a plumbing summary, and maybe like a sort of contractor summary, so that you could create 3 pages that an agent could give to their electrician, the plumber. I don't know if you really need it for like the roof or for the HVAC, because those things tend to be fairly condensed within the report anyway. But I'll let you guys play with that and see how you want to do it.
I can see a lot of benefit on a commercial template.
Yeah, that's a great point, isn't it, Donnie? Where you've got, just tons of different systems, and you could be like, all right, here's a list that for HVAC on commercial would be really big, right? Because you could have like 20 different,
Yes.
systems. Yeah, that's a good point.
Unit 1 through 27.
Yeah, I mean, you could have like, you could have HVAC number one, number two, number three, or something like that, and tag them that way.
The bullet would be great on that, but if it's like Charlie said, if you had a numbered list, I ain't played with it yet, but visually I can see where you had them numbered would be great.
Yeah, yeah, play around with it, man. We would really like the feedback, and we're hoping you guys find some value in this. I think it's a very cool feature. So, uh, great, Scott. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I can't believe I was gonna let it go by. I've been pretty busy. I always forget what I'm anticipating doing. So cool. Anybody else have any other desktop questions? I think we got through observation tags. Yeah,
Dylan.
Charlie.
Dylan. Yeah, I had one thing that came up with working with Joe. Go to boilerplate language.
Okay, so just boilerplate language is the language. Let's just before we do real quick, I'll just show you everybody where that is. Just we have some people that are brand new to Scribeware. So here's a report, and the boilerplate language is the very first language that shows up. This is what I think of as kind of setting the stage.
You want to come in?
Um, someone's.
Hide you.
So this boilerplate, I think John Chrisman asked about boilerplate the other day. So this is that language. And if you want to change it, how you change this language would be go under the desktop and under settings and boilerplate. And so this is my Orca home inspection boilerplate. Okay, Charlie.
All right, so now click on new.
And new, and that should let me rename it. So this is kind of like if John's still on here, save as. So we could call this Orca number 2. So now I've got a new name for it, and now that it's got a new name, I should be able to do anything I want. Like I could go make this bold, and I could.
Yes, but why doesn't it give you a blank page so you don't have to
Yeah, it is a little funny, but if you wanted a blank page, you could just come up here and delete it all, and then
I know, but the problem is it makes me nervous even that I'm deleting something I shouldn't be.
Yeah, well, remember that you could always go back to my Orca number 1, and I should be right where I left off. So as long as you renamed it first, you should be good to go.
Yeah. That's what we figured out, but I
yeah.
just thought it was it'd be nice if it was just a blank page so you could start.
So if you're new to Scribeware, these boilerplate is really powerful. So this is the key that lets me use one template for everything. So notice how I have a commercial boilerplate, I have a condo interior boilerplate, I have a consulting boilerplate. And my consulting boilerplate is basically like this is not a complete home inspection, and the scope of this report is only what's in this report. And so it's like, but then I can use my regular template. And if someone wanted me to look at the plumbing or the roof or whatever, I can just still use my roofing section, and I've got my whole library and everything. So there's no sense to like have a whole other template for this. I can just change my boilerplate around. So I use a lot of different boilerplate. Again, I have like a full condo, an interior condo, commercial, consulting, my Orca home inspection, and then I think I have a multifamily boilerplate. So
The advantage to doing it that way is that you've got if the consulting is about the roof, you got everything you need about roofs is already there. If it's about foundations,
yeah, that's right. I've already got all these little sections all built out, so why not use them, you know? And so all you need to do is toggle your boilerplate around. So where you do that on the home page or on the client and property information page, like if this job here were not a home inspection but were a consultation, I could come to my boilerplate here and switch it to consulting, and then boom, I've got a consulting template. That makes sense, everybody? This is a really big thing to me of how I can use, and I don't know if John's still on here. It seems like he disappeared, but John has been, like I think he's got a lot of different templates, and you can do that. But I really much prefer my life with one template. Templates are like so much work, and the more you can do on one template, the easier your life is long term. Just less maintenance in your life. So hopefully that makes sense for everybody. And because remember, part of how I'm able to do that too, let me just walk you through the whole thing. If I start, I'm going to go create from template right on my home screen, and I'm going to choose the narrative style report. We're still loading here. So we'll go down to narrative style. So this is the one I use every day for everything. I choose that, we create a report. And the trick is that I have designed my template so that if I hit the publish button on a brand new report, there should be absolutely nothing here. We could hit preview for this. We'll go ahead and preview it. And I'm gonna have to drag it in here. There it is. So preview, I've got scope and purpose of a home inspection. I've got no major concerns. I've got the complete report and then information. There's nothing in this. So this is the way that now, and because I haven't filled anything in, there's just nothing there. So now I could change my boilerplate to a condo or a commercial or whatever. So if you design your template right, when you print it, there will be nothing there. The one thing that a lot of people like that is a great feature that I don't use is default descriptions. So if you came from a system, like some of the systems, your people have like every chapter heading has like, on the exterior, don't sue us, and here are the things we don't look at, and like a whole sort of disclaimer that starts out. And I totally get that, but the reason I don't use it is A, it's hard to write those and have them be specific to the building. They're often very generic, and one of the things that's always driven me crazy is not wanting my reports to look generic. Like I always want every word to be about the house or the building that I'm inspecting. So that was one reason why I avoided them. The other is that if I want to use my template for a consultation, I now have stuff that I have to delete. And for me, it's easier to add stuff than to have to remember to delete things. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how my brain works. Everybody get that? Hopefully that's helpful. And there's no reason you can have as many templates as you want in Scriber. So if you want to have different templates, you totally can. I kind of stand on my head to I've lived the life of having multiple templates, and I know the pain that it inflicted upon me. And so I wanted to figure out a way that I could just maintain one template, and it definitely helps me have a better, faster template.
Yeah, and that's Dylan. That's my mission is just to have it simple and allow people deliver a report that they can run across the top of, but no matter how deep they drill into it, they get all the detail they want.
Yep. No, that's awesome, Rick. And one trick you have is if you're in Texas, that's harder to do like a consultation because you have to use that Trek form. So now you might need to have a separate template for like consultations or commercial buildings or something.
Right. And like you're saying, because I love the idea of having separate rooms like that and could do that within the Trek template, but it's even easier, like I think you're saying, where you just put your pictures and you say, and you label them accordingly.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Wow, what a great day. I'm looking forward to watching the playback of this one.
Nice. Great. Hopefully everybody's getting some cool little things they can do. Anybody else have any other questions? We kind of burned through all of our time on desktop, but
Dylan, I do have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Summary. We use the summary, and we're wondering, is there a way we can reduce the amount of information that comes up on the summary, because we're getting a lot of criticism about doubling up.
Yeah, so there is so one of the things that is Tim still on here? Like one of the things that I think some people have done, I know Matthew Scott was on here earlier, and he writes some insanely detailed reports. And one of the neat things that he did, I think with Tim, is he was able to use, I'm kind of making an example of it, but like I have this all caps blue title of exterior route repairs. And I think Tim used some CSS where the summary page might only show, just the title, or maybe the title in the first sentence or something, so that, because this, a criticism, if you read my reports, the summary page is pretty long. And if you just took like a title and the first sentence, you could really start abbreviating those summaries. Then another technique, Mark, might be so that I showed you with these tags how you could maybe not repeat slow drain twice, right? You could just use these tags and start saying where you found the slow drain. So that,
well, with the summary, we get the link to the item, and then 2/3 of the whole item. And if it's a construction progress inspection and you're quoting the building code, then you've got a heap of building code there, and then you've got it again in the full report.
Understood.
So we're getting a lot of flack from the builders
Yeah.
about, oh, this is
Because
painful.
they
So
want a true summary. Tim, do you think you could meet with Mark and help him get some CSS that might be able to like weed out some of that?
Yeah, there's a couple ways you could do that. Like if you chose a font color, like you could say, purple font, and then you could use CSS to say in the body, purple font shows up as black. In the summary, it doesn't show up at all. And then that way you can kind of sort through and say, anything I put in purple is not going to show up in the um not going to show up in the summary, and then you can pick and choose. Or there's other ways to kind of just take, I only want the blue font in the
I think Donnie
summary.
had an idea too.
Tim, I
If,
ended up
if
using first instance,
Yep.
and that's how I kept just the first line, and then everything beneath the first line didn't show
yeah,
up in the summary.
that would do. That would do. All we want is the first line, just so we got the links and a title.
Yep.
Is that a standard item then that we just have to elect?
How did you do it, Matthew? Did you do that with CSS?
With CSS, yes.
Okay. Do you have that could you share that with me or something that I could send to him?
Yeah, I think I already sent that one to you.
Oh, you probably did, but
I know you don't have anything else going on.
yeah, I know. But yeah, I'd be happy to try to get that to you, Mark. Let me because or Tim could write
And,
it.
and I can always send it again.
Yeah, if you could send it to me, Matthew, that'd be
Sure.
awesome. And then Mark, hit me up with an email just to remind me, and I can get it to you. Everybody, just so you know what CSS is, particularly if you're new to Scriber, there's a lot of customization we can do under settings. Let me get rid of why that showed up. My screen just went out. Hang on.
Thanks, Tim and Matthew.
Sorry, guys. Sometimes my second monitor cuts out. I don't know why. Let me get Scriber back up. Everybody still with me?
Yep.
All right. Can you guys see my desktop again?
Yep.
Yes.
Cool. So what you can do for CSS is, and Mark, this will be important when we get it to you. You can go under advanced down here under settings, and then you would literally just paste this code in. And I think what Scott's saying is he's written a code that just takes just the first sentence. Is that right, Matthew? Yep.
Yes, that's right.
Cool. So you would want to kind of author your comments so that your first sentence is kind of like what you would want in the summary, but then nothing else will go to the summary.
That it's as simple as that. That's all we need to do. So then it would just chop off, the 2 pages of building code that I don't want to see.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. But it's a super cool feature. I've been wanting to do an interview with Matthew. He does some really cool detailed reports, and as soon as I saw what that looked like, and I thought about what a summary would look like. It's not really a summary at a certain point if the comments are too long. So
Absolutely, and that's the criticism we're getting from so many builders.
okay, cool, Mark. Well, we'd love to help you with it. We'll try to get that sorted for you, man.
Okay, I'll flick you an email just to remind you of the
Yeah,
conversation.
please do, because
and appreciate the code, Matthew, if you're able to share that.
yeah, thank you, Matthew. That's awesome. Cool. Anybody else have any questions? I don't think there's time for me to jump on with mobile today. Maybe next meetup we'll try to focus more on mobile. But we've been doing a lot of kind of desktop updates, so this was a good meetup. Cool, guys. Well, if there aren't any other questions, we'll keep charging. I thanks everybody for showing up. I'm sorry we didn't give enough warning for this one. Our marketing person forgot to send out the thing, but it was so cool. We got Mark from Australia. We have Hugh from the UK. We've got Daniel from Portugal. So this is incredible. We're like all over the globe here today.
Well, I'm sorry I was late to the meeting, but I got to drive an hour to get to the meeting, and it means getting up at 3 a.m.
Oh, geez, Mark, that's amazing. Well, nice to have you. It's great to see you, and
I'll try to make them.
It's very cool to have everybody from all over the place. It's fun having everybody here. So I appreciate you guys taking the time and
Can I
keep
just
giving us.
ask one
And,
quick question before you sign
Yeah,
off, Doug?
shoot, Hugh.
I'd just be interested to know of people in the US. Do you have any resistance to people clicking a URL? Because generally speaking, over in the UK, we're using PDF formats for reports. And this is a new thing for me, really, sending out a URL. And of course, some people won't click links. They think, hello, even though they know it's a report coming in from somebody, they resist it. And I've had one or two people say, well, I'm not sure about the link. Do you have anybody resist it? Any clients say, oh, I don't like clicking links? Or is that not something that happens over in the US at all?
well, you can have the same fear about clicking on a PDF too. So
I guess so. It's just something one or two people have raised, and I'm thinking
yeah.
rolling out, this reports in this format. It could, whether there's any issues anybody's
Yeah,
ever
keep us
come across.
posted with it, Hugh. I mean, one thought I had, I mean, I wonder if there's some way that we could improve messaging for you because it is, from the link you can build a PDF. So if we make it more clear, maybe up front that like click on this and you can view it as an HTML doc, or you can view it as a PDF, maybe something like
Well,
that.
here's a thought, Hugh. You could also create a PDF and give them the link in the main body of the email and have the PDF attached, which they can preview,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
may give it more credibility if you have
Yeah,
a
And
problem.
that's
I
what I
think
do for my agents because my agents actually specifically ask for those PDFs. But the link to the report is helpful too if you have a client who is maybe talking to a contractor and they just want them to, go in the report and look at this retaining wall, look at the pictures, that kind of thing. So they could share that link if they wanted
It
to.
is interesting. Rick's in Dallas in Texas where you're supposed to send the required PDF. The Trek PDF is like the required Texas document.
Oh
So
yeah, that too.
it's an interesting point to your question, Hugh, that there's certainly places where the PDF is still a really big part of the whole thing. And I actually think it's cool having both. I mean, the PDF is obviously a better document to be able to print instead of work off of something, but the HTML has a lot of advantages with videos and interactivity. Yeah, Charlie had a comment on this.
Yeah, I actually just send my customer a text to let them know that I just sent them the link. It also kind of eases the tension of them, worrying if it's legitimate.
Yeah.
Telling them I'm sending it right now.
Yeah, I don't really think there's likely to be a problem. It's just one of the things over here is that most software format is PDF. Although I think this is a lot better, actually. I just wondered if anybody had any resistance. But thanks very
Well,
much for your comments.
another thought, Hugh, is when they book you, and you send some sort of confirmation email, tell them that on the day or the day after
Yeah,
the inspection, whenever you do it, they're going to get a link.
yeah,
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
We
could
we
be.
yeah.
I see it as one of the best marketing ideas that you've come up with out of this thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be
Be
such
the
a
one
great
that changes the
opportunity, right?
industry.
Yeah.
That's an
It's far
opportunity.
better. It's far better, I think, having it in this format. I think this is much better.
hey, Mark
Yeah,
from
we deliver
Australia.
the best report in the best format you've ever seen before when they call in to book the inspection. Tell them right up front.
Well,
What do you say,
That's what I've got
What
to
do you
do.
say, Charles?
Yeah, I'd like to connect with you after this. I've got a Australian template that I built,
Oh, really?
so you
Oh,
might be interested in
Mark
it.
kind
oh,
of built all kinds of stuff.
we're actually not. I'm sorry, I haven't attended before. It's the time zone. It's 15 hours difference that gives us
Right,
the
right.
problem. But we've actually been using this for over a year now. And my colleague and I, Charlie, spent 2 months creating all of our Australian templates. So we've
Oh,
got
okay.
Yeah, they're
we've
totally dialed. These guys, Mark reached out to me with a question and they'd already built like 10 different templates. You guys are amazing. That
Cool.
was super impressive.
Hey,
it's just
No,
Dylan.
Andy's talking to us from tomorrow.
say again.
I said, and you're talking to us from tomorrow.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
right. Yeah, it's Wednesday at 6:30 a.m.
That's awesome.
Back
Well,
to the
gosh,
future.
between Mark and Hugh, we've really got and Daniel, we've got some serious time zone coverage here. It's pretty
Global
cool.
global
Yeah,
coverage now. Global coverage.
I just I wanted to tell Charles, I feel like I really know you. I've spent the last 2 weeks going through your entire library comment, every single comment, converting it into Portuguese standards and
Wow.
Portuguese regulations, and in English. But it was quite a project to redo everything that you've done and to put it in my own formatting and all of that. I found a really cool trick because I'm using Portuguese regulations, and it's a lot. It's hundreds of pages of documents to look through. And what I ended up doing was building an AI
Oh, cool.
database with a software program called Ask Your PDF, where I can feed it all of the codes in a PDF format, and I can interact with ChatGPT to only look at that particular document. That way, I'm not referencing anything else that
Yeah,
ChatGPT is
yeah,
trained on.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
just that
yeah.
one document. I can filter out all the bad information. So,
Hopefully
uh,
you fixed all my bad information.
no, no, but I at least made it, made it Portuguese
Yeah,
bad.
Well,
And
awesome.
then, of course, my clients are American, so that was a whole nother level of complexity of trying to
Yeah,
explain
really,
yeah.
things
really.
in Portugal to an American or British or wherever the case may be, but English speaking. So
But
it's
Daniel,
been a project.
that's really cool. I mean, we've been thinking that it would be just incredible. I mean, AI's ability to take one template and you could be like, I want a title, an all caps blue title for every comment, or I want to remove it, or I want to. I mean, there's so much that could be done automatically to save like thousands of hours of template work. So,
You
it's pretty.
you say doing things automatically. A bit of useless information for you, but we have used Zapier to automate 3,500 tasks that
Mhm.
connect between HubSpot, Scribeware, and Zapier. So, for example, when somebody books us online via HubSpot, a plugin, Zapier that we've created the requirement for, creates the SW file in the cloud, so it's all ready to go.
That's awesome. Nice, Mark. That's pretty cool. So, Mark, you're using the Zapier integration to be able to connect those two?
3,500 automated tasks so far.
Wow. God, that's amazing.
It's
That's
hard
pretty
to
cool.
believe that there's even that many tasks automated, isn't
Yeah, that really
it?
is. That's incredible. How cool.
Uh,
I love it.
I mean, the tasks aren't just about Scribeware. They're also about payments and invoices and all sorts of shit
Sure.
like that. So,
Yep. Yeah.
but it's amazing the things that you can automate that don't require AI.
Yeah. That is super cool.
Hey, Dylan.
Yeah.
One other thing I see in the comments, some comments about sharing CSS code. Um, So I would say if you're not on the Facebook group, the Scriber Facebook group's a really good place to be for that. Because people will just, paste on there, hey, I found out how to do this and post there or ask questions about that. So even if you don't have Facebook, I would say it's worth it to get an account, maybe get a business account, just to get on that Scribeware group and be able to see what other people are doing.
Okay, yeah,
Anybody
that's a
who's
good
not
tip.
there.
Yeah. That's an awesome tip, Tim. There's some great stuff on there, and we try to. I mean, that's where I try to share most stuff on there. So I'll let you in. We try to keep it a tight group. So, well, guys, what a fun meetup! It's such a treat to see everybody. I can't tell you how much we appreciate your feedback and support, and we keep trying to keep it better and stable and great. So keep giving us feedback, everybody. We'll do what we can to keep everybody running, and I guess we'll see you next month or sooner.
Okay, everybody have
Okay,
a good
thanks
day.
very
Good to
much.
see everybody.
See you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take
Bye.
care.
All right, bye.
Oh, see you.
All right, but see you, Dylan.
Hey, see you, Charlie.
Unless you need me to hang on here.
Yeah, we'll talk soon, buddy. See
Okay,
you,
bye.
man. Bye.